Hi everybody, this is Ospreyeye from mychartcoach.com, and we're going to take a look at some stocks that are in play today, and we're also going to take a look at IWM. This is the Russell 2000. Okay, this is the ETF that follows the small caps. Okay, and so if you haven't noticed, the last few days the small caps have been under pressure, and so when IWM is heading lower, it's really difficult for the penny stocks to get running. If you could see here, it dropped below 50 on RSI. It needs to get back above that level. Now Fasto is below 20 and at oversold levels. So this is where it should get a technical bounce down here. The share price closed below the middle Bollinger Band here on back here on Friday, and then yesterday, it was trying to hold that middle Bollinger Band support, and then today there was a big close below that level. Today's candle did try to hold this 50-day simple moving average at 140, and so that's the key level to hold at 140.26, and so this is where it should get a technical bounce. If that breaks, you could see a drop down here to 138. So in order for the penny stocks to get moving, IWM needs to continue this uptrend that's been happening. So it needs to get a technical bounce off this 50-day simple moving average. If the 50-day simple moving average in the middle Bollinger Band turn into resistance, that could signal the possible start of a new downtrend, and it'll be really tough for the small caps to get moving, the penny stocks that everyone likes to trade. So yeah, so IWM is set up for a potential technical bounce off of this 50-day simple moving average tomorrow after this big pullback. Okay, let's take a look at MTBC. Okay, this has been on a nice multi-day run here. If you look at RSI, it is up here at 79, so it's at overbought levels, along with Fasto above 80, a big parabolic spike on plus DI. There was a bullish crossover here with 80x crossing minus DI to the upside, and so this chart has really been heating up. Congrats to everyone. Notice that the close yesterday was above the 50-day simple moving average at 154. That is the bull signal, so keep that in mind. When a stock closes above that level, many times it signals more upside potential if it's been trading below for an extended period of time. The same thing with this candle right here. Notice how the candles had been trading below the 50-day simple moving average. They closed above here, and then a breakout followed. So that's the same thing that happened here. After breaking 50-day simple moving average support, it had this long downtrending channel. It found support around 114, broke the middle Bollinger Band, and closed above the 50-day simple moving average yesterday, and then it had nice follow through today. Notice today's candle did close well above the upper Bollinger Band at 175, and so if the candles do pull back into the bands, you want to see that 50-day simple moving average hold. It would be best if EMA4 at 170 held. If you look up here, high of day, hit back here on this high close zone on the first trading day of May, and over here on May 10th, and so it's going to be important to close above that level. So 240 is the big level to break. If it can close above 240, then you could see it run up into the threes. You can see the next levels are the tops of these wicks. So this is the crucial level of 240. Close above it, breaks out higher, fails to break it, could pull back and test that 50-day simple moving average. Notice there was a big volume spike today, and then down here there's bull crosses on MACD recently, and notice how they're quite a bit below the prior runs. So you can see MACD has a long ways to go to get back up to these prior levels on previous runs. Okay, so yeah, so MTBC, congrats to everyone. Okay, let's look at BONT. Okay, showing you this chart today because it closed back above the 100-day simple moving average. If you look at the 50 RSI here at 56, I mean, that's got a lot of room still to run till 70. Want to see that stay above 50. Want to see Fasto get back above 50. Bulls want to see this green line cross the black line to the upside. And so what we've been looking for the last few days for BONT is a close back above the 100-day simple moving average, currently at 0.636, and so it did close back above that level today. Notice how there's been multiple candles that closed above that level, and then it failed to hold and pulled back, and it's been holding the 50-day simple moving average at 0.533. It still needs to hold that level and hold the middle Bollinger Band here at 0.586. That's the dotted purple line. If it holds these support levels and then stays above the 100-day simple moving average, that should signal more upside potential. The next key level to break is going to be this closing price here on the 21st, and that's at 80 cents. If it can get above 80, then you're talking about the previous this cluster high close here, resistance level at around 86, which is lined up with the upper Bollinger Band. So yeah, so you could see a run here up to 80, 86 level if the 100-day simple moving average holds. If it can get above those levels, then you'll be talking about a run up to dollar land. So first things first, it's got to stay above the 100-day simple moving average. Notice there was a nice volume spike today, so that's always what bulls want to see. You know, volume had dried up. You know, this was a nice technical bounce off the middle Bollinger Band and the 50-day simple moving average. So this responded really well. Bulls want to see a crossover here on MACD on the 12, 26, and 9. They want to see that black signal line cross the blue the black MACD line cross the blue signal line to the upside, and the same thing on the 8, 13, and 5. If that happens, that could signal the possible start of a new uptrend. Okay, take a look at IPI. Okay, this is a weekly chart, so yeah, instead of each candle being one, representing 1 day of trading, each candle on this chart represents 1 week of trading, and so this has been on this epic run. It's currently up here at 79 on RSI, and Fasto's almost maxed at 98. So the chart is frothy right now. It's you know, been pushing hard for multiple weeks. You've got plus DI, you know, showing that the bulls are clearly in control. You know, it's still not up to this prior level, but it is at very high levels up there at 40. And so you can see what happened down here is a new uptrend started. Basically back here in November of 2016, when the middle Bollinger Band finally broke and held. You know, it started, you know, back here in June of last year when it was trying to turn that middle Bollinger Band into support, but it pulled back down in October, and then it got back above that level, and that's really when it started moving higher. And then it's been able to hold the 50-week simple moving average currently at 189. That's this green line. That's the big level to hold, along with the 100-week simple moving average at 222. That's the gold line, and that is lined up with the middle Bollinger Band at 227. So if for some reason the share price does pull back, those are the two big levels to hold. You want to see that 222 support level. You want to see candles stay above the 100-week simple moving average, and then as long as the middle Bollinger Band is holding, the uptrend's intact. So this has got you know, if you see here that it's got 5 white candles in a row, so it's been pushing hard, and then now it's hitting this key resistance level. If you go all the way back here into December of 2015, okay, this provided some support on this big drop, on this big pullback, and so now that's key resistance level. And then you can see the this close right here. I'm calling it basically 390 or so, about 390. The bottom of this big candle, that's going to be a big resistance level to break. If it can get above that level, notice that is also lined up with this descending resistance line from up here. Okay, so this is a really crucial resistance level to break, and if it can get above that, then you can see a run up here to the bottom of these candles, which would be around, you know, just between 550 and 6. Okay, and so that's where the top of this channel is also lined up. So notice that it's in this uptrending channel, and so it bounced off the bottom of the channel down here in March, and then now it's like in the middle of the channel, and then if it can break above this 4 resistance zone, we'll call it, it could run up to 550. Okay, so yeah, really nice uptrend for IPI. Congrats to everyone. This week's candle will not set until the closing bell on Friday. Okay, so take a look at DCTH, down another 18% today. This is a chart that we've been working on, so we'll look and see how it's looking today. The annotations have not been changed. Okay, so you've got RSI getting close to that 30 oversold line. MACD is, or Fasto is at extreme oversold levels at 4.6. It was at 5.53 the last time we checked it out. Okay, so you've got the bears clearly in control with minus DI above 80x and plus DI, and so this is getting really interesting now. So we've got the multiple red candles in a row. Okay, so it looks like what, seven down days in a row, and so last week we had there was a gap fill right here. in between these two candles, that there was a gap, and that ended up filling. Okay, so those will be red now, and so that filled last week, and we were looking for a potential bounce. I mean, it was a very small gap. It was a very small gap, and we were looking for potential technical bounce off that level. You know, that was lining up with this. You know, it just closed below the 50-day simple moving average, and it was hitting that lower Bollinger Band, and it filled the gap. And so, you know, it could have had a technical bounce off that level, along with this. If you look here, the 100-day simple moving average currently at 0.09, and so it looked like it was set up to possibly bounce there after filling this gap. Sometimes that happens. But the problem is there's another gap below, and so there's a bigger gap down here, and so this is the real gap. This is the big daddy, and this is the one that's been filling. So notice the lower wick on today's candle almost filled that gap, and so tomorrow, if the share price comes down here and it hits this 0.06, if it hits 6 cents, that could be a very strong catalyst for a bounce. So yeah, just looking at the candles here, it looks like multiple gap downs. So you've got it looks like a gap down open here, a gap down open here, and a gap down open here. So this is looking like bullish 3 gap downs reversal pattern. So this is a strong reversal pattern. So tomorrow, be looking for a potential technical bounce off of 6 cents on a gap fill. So we're looking at a gap fill bounce and potential bullish reversal confirmation, with the target being loading off of 6 with the potential run back up to 9 for where the EMA 4 and the 100-day simple moving average are. So that could be a potential 50% gain just on a technical bounce. Okay, now if the gap fills and the share price drops below 6 and that turns into resistance, that would be just crazy bad. Okay, so this is so set up for a technical bounce, it would be shocking if it did not bounce off of 6. Okay, so let's take a look at RSII. This is another medical marijuana play, and yeah, they've got this nice uptrend going, and it made a very bullish move today. Okay, so it had a nice spike on news, and then it had a pullback from a high of day, but it still did close strong, and it's riding EMA's 4 and 8 support higher. If you look down here, it was the largest volume day in the last couple of months. And so we're going to see here if it can break this penny level. That's the huge level to break, 0.01. If it can break above that level, that could signal that it wants to head much higher, and then we'll be looking at this 0.014 as the next target. So yeah, so keep an eye on RSII. It has been heating up, and it is signaling more upside potential. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, check us out at mychartcoach.com and our YouTube channel at mychartcoach.com. Thank you.